Hello, everyone. My name is Allie, and today I'm going to be giving a research pitch for Stoke Cold Brew Coffee. So, over the course of the semester, I've been conducting market research on Stoke and the ready to drink coffee industry as a whole. So, today I'm just going to be kind of pitching the research that I've been completing all semester. So, just to kind of preview this presentation, here's a brief overview of what I will be talking about today. First, we're going to go over some basic information about Stoke itself, and then I'm going to introduce my specific research objective. After that, we will go ahead and talk about two of Stoke's biggest competitors. And then we're going to go over my secondary and primary research, which includes an interview guide and survey design. And then we'll talk a little bit about why you should fund this research pitch and kind of wrap it up and tie it all up in a bow. So, to start us off, let's talk a little bit about Stoke itself. So, Stoke Cold Brew Coffee is one of the up and coming leading companies in the ready to drink coffee industry. And the company has been extremely successful, but it is looking to further engage Gen Z through its marketing. We'll talk a little bit about this in a minute, but Gen Z is an incredibly important target audience and demographic for not just Stoke, but the entire ready to drink coffee industry. Just as Gen Z grows up, they're gaining a lot of buying power across all markets, but specifically the ready to drink coffee market. So, the specific research objective that I'm going to be talking about today is understanding Gen Z's opinions on the branding of various ready to drink cold brew coffee brands. So, this is where I'm going to kind of get into the different competitors and then both my secondary and primary research. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about Stoke's main competitors, just since my research objective covers branding across various RTD coffee companies. So, I thought it was important to include the competitors in this presentation. Um, so, the two main competitors that I had identified in a situation analysis over Stoke were Califia Farms and also Chameleon Cold Brew. Califia, which you can see on the left of your screen, is known for its vast variety of products, including plant based products, which makes it very unique. And as you can see, Califia is kind of known for its very aesthetic marketing and packaging, which for this specific research objective makes it a huge competitor for Stoke. And then on the right hand side, you can see Chameleon Cold Brew. Chameleon also has really great branding, and it started out as a local business, which gives it a unique edge just in general, but in its marketing as well. So, over the course of the semester, I did a lot of secondary research over Stoke Cold Brew. However, for my specific chosen research objective, I thought that this chart was incredibly useful and impactful. Um, Basically, as imposed tariffs continue to increase prices in all markets, coffee prices are also expected to rise. So, this chart is from a 2025 Mintel report, and it shows what consumers would do if the price of coffee does continue to rise. So, as you can see, the top result was that 35% of consumers, which was the largest portion, would begin to make coffee more often at home. So, this is a huge opportunity for the ready to drink coffee market as a whole, just to really market to these new consumers and kind of get them in the industry and switch them over from going to coffee shops to just buying ready to drink coffee at the grocery store. And this means that now more than ever, Stoke really needs to stand out to its consumers and kind of differentiate itself from its competitors. And then the chart that you see here on your left is the global price of coffee since 2000. And as you can see, within the last couple of years, the price of coffee has really skyrocketed. Um, this data proves the point that I was just making a minute ago, that with the rising coffee costs in the ready to drink coffee market, the industry as a whole needs to capitalize on these new consumers. And the chart on the right shows that Gen Z has the highest consumption of any ready to drink coffee by any generation. So, this data really shows that Gen Z should be the main target demographic for any ready to drink coffee brand, but especially Stoke, and especially because Gen Z is going to be a huge part of this market in the coming years as kind of the back end of the generation continues to grow up. So, yeah, this just kind of shows why I picked the demographic that I did, and why branding and packaging is going to be very, very important as more consumers come in and possibly more brands come into the market. And then these two graphs are used from the same Mintel report from 2025 that I previously mentioned on the last slide. So to complete this goal, I created an interview guide that kind of details how I would conduct interviews for this research. My participants would need to be college students aged 18 to 24 to hit that Gen Z demographic who do not currently purchase ready-to-drink coffee products but do drink coffee twice a week. And I put those specific parameters on there just because we are going to need to start looking at these new consumers that are going to be entering the ready-to-drink coffee industry as coffee prices continue to rise. So in this interview guide, I've included a mix of introductory questions, core questions, and experience-based questions, as well as an introductory statement and consent statement. The intent behind these questions is to kind of discover the participants' opinions about different ready-to-drink coffee branding and how important or unimportant packaging and aesthetics is when the participant is choosing between brands to purchase. These questions would help Stoke better understand Gen Z's purchasing patterns and how influential company branding and packaging may be, just so that Stoke can continue to be a top performer and competitor within this industry. Along with the interview guide, I created a survey just to kind of help quantify some of the information that we're finding out. So as you can see on your screen, questions 1 through 3 are going to be screening questions just to ensure that all of the participants are within the target demographic. And then questions 4 through 6 are going to be behavioral questions just to help further understand how packaging and aesthetics influences Gen Z's purchasing patterns. The research objectives that are hit here are understanding the importance of physical brand appearance, understanding if packaging is a purchasing factor, and also assessing the current ready-to-drink coffee knowledge of the participant. And then questions 7 and 8 are going to be attitudinal scales, just to understand really how important or unimportant packaging is for Gen Z when deciding between brands, just to kind of help quantify some of this information. The research objectives met here are the understanding of the importance of colorful packaging and also understanding the importance of aesthetics for brand packaging specifically. So, why should you fund this research? The strategic impact of my findings would be immense for Stoke. As the market continues to get more and more competitive, Stoke really needs to find a way to stand out among its competitors. Brands such as Califia Farms and Chameleon that were previously mentioned are constantly innovating and continuing to rise to the top of this industry. And Stoke really needs to utilize every tactic that it can, including appealing to Gen Z through packaging and branding, just to stay at the top of the industry. And Gen Z aesthetics and packaging really matter to them. So this is going to be a very big part of continuing to stay at the top of the ready-to-drink coffee industry, even with innovating new flavors and products and stuff like that. The packaging and branding of the company is going to be essential to making sure that consumers are actually buying their products off of the shelves in the grocery store. Additionally, my mixed methods approach offers a very comprehensive and strategic perspective. So through the use of secondary research, primary research, interviews, surveys, all of that good stuff, I've made sure to cover the entire target demographic and also all of the different sectors of my research. The use of secondary research really helps kind of identify the state of the market, the different competitors and their performances, and then also the different items that consumers are wanting or continuing to love. Interviews really help show the participant's sentiment over this topic and can kind of help show the emotional connection between, aesthetics and buying and everything that Gen Z is kind of looking for. And then the survey data helps to quantify all of this information, which gives us numbers, and it helps show specifically how important branding is to a specific amount of people. So kind of quantifying all of that information is extremely helpful. So overall, all of these findings are going to be very important for Stoke's future success in an ever-changing and ever-growing market, especially as coffee prices do continue to rise. So your call to action is going to be to fund my research. This research would overall help enhance Stoke's brand image and reputation, and really help them continue to innovate and rise to the top of this industry. By funding my research, you are ensuring that Stoke will continue to be the number one consumer pick on shelves everywhere. Thank you.